Well, you acknowledge that you're not vibrating at the frequency that the source within you is. And we're just going to give you a piece of something. Write this down or remember it or listen back to it when you hear it, because this is really a key piece expressly for what you're talking about here. When you focus generally, your frequency automatically raises. When you focus, we're going to clarify this in just a moment. If you're focused upon something unwanted in a specific way, and you make efforts to become more general about it, your frequency raises and raises and raises and raises. It just goes up, 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 because it was the details of unwanted that were introducing the resistance. Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. So as you become, for example, I'm really unhappy at work. I don't like the place that I'm sitting, and I don't like the person I'm sitting next to. And I don't like what I'm being paid, and I don't like what they're asking me to do. Or some version of that. We got a little bit of that from each of you. So that's really specific. And if you want to add more specifics to it, I don't like that guy because he does this and this and this. He's lazy about his work. He does only as little as he can get by with. He never comes up with a good idea. Now we're getting more and more negatively specific and feeling more and more uncomfortable because straying further and further from the opinion of source. And I don't like this place that I'm working because it's off in the corner and I don't have any airflow over here, and the place is a dump, and the company ought to be able to spend more money, and so getting more and more specific, and in doing so adding more and more resistance, and in doing so causing a greater crevasse between what's in the vortex and what you want. You see what we're getting at? Really good demonstration. And so now you want to get more general. The more general you are, the less specifics you're introducing. The less you're doing that thing you do that lowers resistance. That's the part that we want you to write down. The more general you are, the less you do that thing you do that adds resistance. And the less resistance you add, then the more you allow the cork to float. The cork is floating on the surface of the water, non-resistant. Hold it under the water. That's what negative beliefs are, negative emotion is. Let go of it, up it goes. So the way you let go of it is by becoming more general. So you say, well, I'm not always going to be here. It's a general statement. You could even try to be general about the specific person that's sharing your cubicle that you don't like, but usually that's going about it the hard way. So it's better to just get as general as you can. The more general, the better. Most of my life, I'm not here in this cubicle. I have much more opportunity to be away from this than this. This is bringing income. Not enough. This is bringing income. I did manage to get hired. In other words, not the best statements in the world, but more general, and certainly better than where you were. And many of the processes, if you've been listening to us for a while, have been pointed toward that. In other words, it's just a way to clean up your vibration by distracting yourself from the things that are bothering you. Now, sometimes people worry that if they're not deliberate and if they're not diligent, then they won't get what they want. But that's because they're forgetting about all of the details that they've put into the vortex and all of the attention and care that's being given to those things that are in the vortex. In other words, you've got to accept this. You've got to trust that this vortex does exist, that there is a version of what you want that is there, that is viable and is pulsing and is being focused upon. And your work must be to find a way to focus in a similar way. So you get general enough that you feel better and better and better and better and better. Now, as you reach that general place where you're no longer offering any resistance, and a lot of people, they just get high and they go right there. We're not really encouraging that for this reason. In other words, you can distract yourself in many ways from the specifics that are holding you down. And you hear people say, oh, whatever. And if they really mean that, if they really mean whatever, if they really mean I am no longer going to nitpick, I'm no longer going to sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff, all that negative stuff is small stuff, I'm no longer going to focus upon that. As you begin to hear yourself saying and really meaning those kinds of things, now you're in a position where you can begin to become more specific in a positive way.
Okay.
I'm so looking forward to an environment that is really a comfortable place to be. I really like working in an environment where I can see outside and go outside often. I love working in an environment where I can pretty much choose what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. Or I really love having work that is so satisfying and fulfilling to me that I sort of lose myself in it. I love looking at the clock and being amazed that so much time has passed and I haven't even been aware that the time has passed. Now, these are really specific statements that we are offering here, but they're specific statements that dovetail perfectly with all of the things that you've been putting into your vortex, you see. So now you've cleaned up your vibration by going general, which means you've released resistance. And when you're no longer doing that thing you're doing by introducing resistance, that is what causes the releasing and the raising of resistance. And now you're on a vibrational par with what's in your vortex, and so now it flows seamlessly into your experience, and you begin getting the evidence of it.